This thing on? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the vlog. Just got off of my 4 in a row shifts, and every time I have a 4 in a row, the first day off, I like stay up the entire day. So today we got lots of work to do. I just wanted to hop on the camera and grab some clips of the garden today. There's a lot of updates. Another shout out to BPN. This is their G1M Sport fruit punch flavor. This is really good for pre-run. It's a carbohydrate electrolyte mix. So we are about to go on a run a little bit. I'm gonna drink this up and read a little bit. I'm reading The Hunt for Skinwalker right now. When we went to the beach a few weeks ago, this is the book McKenna read while she was at the beach, and she absolutely freaking loved it. Everybody knows what the Skinwalker Ranch is. It is one of the most famous ranches in Utah, where there's just tons of unexplained paranormal activity and UFO sightings and Bigfoot sightings. So you guys should check this out. I'm almost done reading it. I have like maybe 80 pages left, but it is super good. There's a hurricane coming through this week, and it's been raining for the past 4 days it's been raining, and today it says it's like 30% chance thunderstorms. I mean, I will show you guys this grass later, but my grass is about a foot tall. Well, I wouldn't even call it grass. It's more like the weeds are like a foot tall right now. So I need to get out there and mow. We're gonna go on a run, come back, mow the grass, and then I wanna jump into the garden and show you guys what's going on there. This week is gonna be pretty cool. We're gonna be going on a few adventures together. Once a year, we'll take out the kayaks to the lake. We'll go to like a little island and we'll just chill there all day. But we only do it once a year because it is like so much work just to freaking load up the kayaks, and we have no time with work and all that stuff. So we're gonna do that tomorrow, hopefully, and that should be fun. And then this weekend, hopefully, we are gonna go on our first camping trip. And I think I'm gonna vlog that, so you guys stay tuned. Still no updates on the progress at the homestead. We have talked to a couple contractors, and we're going to keep that on the down low for now, what we're going to be doing. Okay, so, but we are putting it together. We're starting to put the pieces together. We're getting the electric companies, the septic companies, the contractors, the well companies, all that stuff. We're coming together with it. We're coming together with our building permits. But there is lots of time in between now and our finished homestead. There's so much time left in between that we still have things to do. But yeah, anyways, let's freaking get into this vlog today. It's gonna be freaking awesome. You guys stay tuned today, and we'll see you guys later. Would you look at all those nasty weeds? Ugh, gross. Goodness. I think I haven't mowed in probably like 3 weeks. It's whatever. But you know what? I'm not ashamed of my weeds. You know what you call this? You know what you call these weeds? We don't call them weeds around here. I call it natural biodiversity. That's right. That's what I call it. We're going to get this lawn mowed up nice and neat, looking fresh. And then we're going to go to the garden. Look how beautiful it is. Holy hell. Look at all that green. Let me show you guys what we got going on for the summertime. We went ahead and got a little Amazon pool setup going on out here on the porch. You can see I kind of finished the railing there. This is an 8 foot by 10 foot carpet, and I think the pool is a 6 by 10. I'll leave the link in the description for those Amazon purchases so that you guys can check it out. But it's a nice little setup, good place to cool off. I got one half of the deck done. Still need to do the other half, but slacking, slacking, slacking. We got all the mowing done. Took a little longer than it usually does because the grass was so wet and thick today. But we are in the garden now, and I'm gonna run through these garden beds and give you guys a quick update on everything. You can see how freakishly massive these sunflowers have gotten. These are the mammoth sunflowers that I planted this season, and they are at least an inch in diameter, and they are probably a good 10 feet tall now. I have some right there, and then over in that bed there is some. They haven't started blooming yet, but they are still growing and getting taller. You can see to the side here the zucchini plants, or summer squash, are doing really well, and we'll get to that in a little bit, and I'll show you guys the method I used this year for my summer squash. We got some zinnias that started to bloom, all kinds of different colors. Got some orange, some pinks, there's some whites and yellows sometimes. You got some like red ones over there, and then those ones were the bigger ones, and then there's some smaller ones over here, and they're really pretty. They're beautiful. I love the orange color. Behind the zinnias here we have the tiger's eye sunflowers. They're not as tall, but their leaves are really pretty. They have like some red veins on them. The stems are kind of like a purplish color, purple reddish color. The peppers, I finally have gotten them to actually come up. So there's 3 jalapeno pepper plants right here. So they're about to start popping up and giving us some jalapenos. And then over in this one, we got some bell pepper plants that finally decided to show up to the party. I gave up on eggplant this year. There is some okra, and then some more zinnias because McKenna loves them. And if you look down here, the rosemary is starting to grow a little bit. It's not doing too well. The lettuce and spinach you see is already missing, so their season has passed. It's too hot. They started to bolt a good bit, and so we took them out of the bed. Behind these zinnias there's more okra plants. They haven't started to actually produce fruit yet, so we won't worry about going back there and looking at them. You can see the carrots sagging here on the ground. We've been harvesting the carrots lately, and it's been a lot of fun just seeing the different sizes that come out of the ground. You basically just grab it kind of like you're pulling a weed. Just grab it here and just pull it out, and there we go. There's a carrot. The plan later on, towards the end of the summer, is to add some fall plants in this bed once we get all the carrots out, and put some maybe cilantro and stuff like that. We're going to do some pumpkins this year too. This is the cauliflower right here. It's looking nice. And then down there, the little tiny little seedlings you see there, those are basil. So I planted some more basil. If we jump over to this bed, look how wonderful the basil's doing. So a few weeks ago, we made some basil pizza with some ricotta and stuff like that, and it's been wonderful. And like I said, you got the zucchini plants over here. Zucchini or summer squash, looking good. Here's one right here that needs to be harvested probably. Pretty big one. I've gotten so many summer squash this year. We got some broccoli going, and they have actually started to crown. Here's one of them. Here's the other broccoli in the other bed. Look at that. Look at it. That's huge. Those little plants right there, those are poppies, and they haven't started to bloom yet, but they are growing up. And then, like I said, the okra's over here. No harvest there. This bed is one of my favorites just because of the symmetry. I mean, you got the two summer squash plants on the sides, the basil at the bottom, and then the sunflowers just growing up through the middle just like I planned, and it just looks so good. I love that. I really enjoy this bed too. When I was talking about last video about just variety in your beds, this is what I'm talking about. And then you see the cucumbers are just vining out everywhere. They're starting to grow on the trellis. And if you look down here, there's one right there. You can see there's one, some back there. All four of these plants are doing really well. If you notice, I just let the cucumbers vine out wherever they please. So they're actually, they're just attaching to the broccoli and coming all the way out here. You can see them under here. They're attached to the broccoli plants. On the other side, we have some more summer squash. And, oh, there's a big one down there. That needs to be harvested for sure. And last but not least, you have our strawberry bed. They have produced a lot of strawberries. If I pick more strawberries more frequently, I'll get bigger ones. And then if I just kind of like let them grow for a while and I don't pick any for a while, I'll get a bunch of them, but they'll be like really, really small ones. I guess the energy is kind of dispersed throughout the whole plant, and instead of going to one fruit, it has to go to multiple fruit. So I get multiple little ones, and that's usually how it is because I just don't have time to come out here every day and go through the whole bed and pick them. There's so many of them, so I get a bunch of little ones. I'll throw up a picture here to show you guys what I'm talking about. For the vlog today, I really wanted to talk to you about what I did different this year versus the past years with my summer squash plants. So what you notice with the squash plants is you have a stem, and off of the stem you have leaves and you have fruit that come off. And usually they're paired together. So you'll have a leaf and a fruit right beside each other, or you can have a leaf and a male bloom. So if we start here at the bottom, you can see this is a leaf stem, and then this was a male bloom. And then if you look above here, you have a leaf and a fruit, and then you have a leaf and a male bloom. Over here you got a leaf and a male bloom back there. Then you have a leaf and a fruit. So they kind of just alternate up the stem the leaves and fruits and the male blooms, and they kind of just go off at all angles of the stem. So usually when people grow zucchini plant, they kind of grow it like this one over here. This is usually what people do. They just let the vine kind of stretch out across the bed and just let it go kind of wherever it goes. And you can see how bunched up the leaves are underneath. You can see all those stems underneath, how bunched up they are, and how much stress it's putting on those leaves. And even that fruit there is, you can see the stem is underneath of the plant, and that puts a lot of stress on the plant. And it also puts a lot of stress over here on the actual root system. So there's a lot of tension over here because that stem is stretching that way instead of sticking straight up out of the ground. So this year, I decided to grow all of my, well, not all, so I grew a couple of my zucchini plants normally, just how normal people would grow them in their garden, how usually they do. And then I have a kind of experimental group here, and I decided to grow them vertically. And you can see how I have just tied up the stem about every 3 or 4 inches. What I've noticed with these vertical growing squash plants is that I've gotten a longer harvest this season and really a better quality fruit. And I believe that is because these squash aren't sitting on the ground. If you can see, this is just suspending here in the air, and it's not in the dirt, and it doesn't have any opportunity to rot or anything like that. So these two here I grew vertically, and I also grew these two over here vertically, and they're still growing. This is how you should grow your squash or zucchini. This is the most efficient way. You can see this one better probably. You can see how I just tied it up every 3 or 4 inches and just keep going. And this one's about ready to be tied off again, actually. The next issue that I'm having in the garden this year is some nutrition deficits in a couple of my beds, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. You might have already noticed what I'm talking about. If you guys can you guys see this yellow leaf here? This is sign of a nutrient deficit. I will give you guys a short little nutrient deficit lesson here. So I have 4 leaves laying here. This one is obviously the summer squash leaf. You can see the yellowing and the brown color. You can see how the edges are starting to kind of roll up and turn brown. And then you go over here, this is a broccoli leaf. Kind of the same thing happening. Not as much browning going on. You can see it right there, but more of like the yellowing. And then over here is one of my sunflower leaves, and kind of the same thing, yellowing, and then on the edges you see the brown. This is a cauliflower leaf that's kind of doing the same thing. So this one is a perfect example. When you see the yellowing and the browning, or just a difference in your leaves, most often it's going to be some kind of nutrient deficit. So there's usually a couple different nutrients that it could be. It could be the potassium, magnesium, zinc, phosphorus. It could be any of those. So there's an easy fix for this, for me at least, and that is to just add more compost to these bigger plants. Also, what I notice is that I'm only having issues with the bigger plants. So the plants that are actually producing a lot of fruit or are really tall, like the sunflowers. So you have the zucchini plant their squash plant that is producing a lot of fruit. The broccoli is producing a lot of fruit. The sunflowers are really, really tall. So all of those are requiring a lot of nutrients. And if you look at the beds, there is so many plants in there, and they're just sucking up all of that nutrients from the compost that I've already put in there. So they really just need to be topped off with compost, and that's how I fix that problem. And the plant should start to kind of do a little better. But you want to always look at your leaves and notice the signs of distress that your plant is having. There's also, signs of watering distress that can happen. And all these things, you can just Google or read about, but it's very important. Usually, when your plant starts to become more and more distressed, sometimes it can be too late. It's important to just go out every day and, lay eyes on all the plants. Coming up soon, we should be, starting to can our pickles. McKenna and I love freaking pickles, so we'll be canning a lot of pickles this year, and obviously, sharing with our friends and family. Y'all, thanks for joining me today on another vlog. We will hopefully see you guys this weekend, and McKenna will be with me. McKenna's at work today. We'll have a good first camping experience with the new rig. What's up, Doc? Oh, that has some dirt in it. Oh, I've always wanted to do that.